think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway.
The downfall of Blake is super important because it represents our collective awakening, specifically to celebrities that we should not be idolizing. And they hate that.
So do you feel free now to try everything? I mean, what is the next 5 years? Well, in terms of trying, I mean,
I think I know why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds stepped out for the first time since all the drama to the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary. At the end of the day, this is all for PR.
Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them.
You got a few of them.
Come on, it was a joke.
You know, a mother and she has 3 kids and she's done a lot of wonderful things too. You know, you can overcome that. And I came from a place where I wasn't privileged or...
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star, and this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out, and I think I was so vulnerable and uncomfortable.
Okay.
Is Ryan Reynolds
Oh!
like he's
Canadian.
Look, you punch
It's
a couple
super
hundred
annoying.
orphans and suddenly you're mean. This is what I don't understand.
Oh my goodness! You guys, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, that couple we've all been obsessing over for years, might not be the dream team we thought they were. I'm absolutely shook right now because the tea is hot and it's spilling everywhere. Seriously, what if everything we've believed about Hollywood's so-called perfect couple has been nothing but smoke and mirrors this entire time? I mean, I'm genuinely heartbroken thinking about it. The charm, the jokes, the adorable Instagram posts. Was it all just a calculated facade? Because here's the scandalous truth. More and more celebrities are coming forward with stories that paint a completely different picture of Blake and Ryan behind closed doors. We're talking shady business deals, major drama on movie sets, and power plays that would make even reality TV stars blush. The receipts are piling up, and honestly, people are starting to ask some very uncomfortable questions about whether these two have been playing us all along to protect their pristine public image. I literally cannot believe what I'm finding out. But before I dive into all this piping hot drama, please make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell right this second. You absolutely do not want to miss any updates on this developing scandal because trust me, this story is just getting started and it is wild. All right, now let's spill this scalding tea.
The downfall of Blake is super important because it represents our collective awakening, specifically to celebrities that we should not be idolizing. And they hate that.
So do you feel free now to try everything? I mean, what is the next 5 years? Well, in terms of trying, I mean, well,
Did you
yeah.
see the movie?
I did see the movie, but I mean,
We're gonna give you a pop quiz.
there can be a pop quiz every minute of it.
Yeah.
Congrats on the premiere.
And congrats on being a fat bitch. I've gotta go. Sorry, I was just daydreaming about Deadpool x Wolverine in AMC movie theaters now, doing a collab with Jack in the Box. What were you asking me about? Oh yeah, domestic violence. Director? We didn't have one of those for this movie. No, we didn't have one of those. This movie's so important because I'm in it and I get to wear my clothes and me and I, and when there's me when I.
You look really nice.
You look like a drowned sewer rat. My husband Ryan Reynolds is calling me on my Mint mobile phone. Did I mention my husband is Ryan Reynolds? Sorry, he's calling me on my Mint mobile phone. I just really think there was something so charming about the South in the 1800s. Did I mention myself yet? The jacket's actually bowed. Well, it's my husband's, Ryan Reynolds. He's in Deadpool x Wolverine, out in AMC movie theaters now. Tickets available, and a popcorn bucket. On those florals, wash your hair with Blake Brown hair care products, and come out and see the rom-com of the summer. Gotta go.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star, and this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out, and I think I was so vulnerable and uncomfortable.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the cracks in Ryan and Blake's picture-perfect marriage are becoming impossible to ignore anymore. Some major Hollywood players are stepping forward and basically saying what we never wanted to hear, that their wholesome, adorable reputation might be nothing more than a brilliantly executed PR stunt. And if even half of what's being whispered around town is true, we're looking at potentially one of the biggest Hollywood scandals in years. I'm still processing all of this. The drama exploded when Blake Lively made some extremely serious accusations against her It ends with us co-star and director Justin Baldoni. She claimed he harassed her on set, which immediately set social media on fire. But as more details emerged, industry insiders started raising eyebrows, questioning if Blake's story was really telling the whole truth. Then came the bombshell that left me absolutely gasping. Justin Baldoni fired back with a massive $400 million lawsuit against both Blake and Ryan. He's accusing them of defamation, extortion, and even trying to hijack the entire movie project. My jaw is literally on the floor. But wait, it gets even juicier. Other celebrities have actually started backing Justin up, suggesting that Blake and Ryan have a long history of manipulating situations to make themselves look like the innocent parties. For years, they've been Hollywood's golden couple, but now people are starting to wonder if there's a much darker side to their success story. Have they been playing us all along? Could this be the beginning of the end for their spotless public image? One thing is crystal clear. The perfect facade is crumbling, and this drama is far from over.
The downfall of Blake is super important because it represents our collective awakening, specifically to celebrities that we should not be idolizing, and they hate that.
So do you feel free now to try everything? I mean, what is the next 5 years? Well, in terms of trying, I mean,
Did you see the movie?
I did see the movie, but I mean,
we're gonna give you a pop quiz.
There's gonna be a pop quiz every minute of it.
Yeah.
Congrats on the premiere.
And congrats on being a fat bitch. I've gotta go. Sorry, I was just daydreaming about Deadpool x Wolverine in AMC movie theaters now, doing a collab with Jack in the Box. What were you asking me about? Oh yeah, domestic violence. Director? We didn't have one of those for this movie. No, we didn't have one of those. This movie's so important because I'm in it and I get to wear my clothes and me and I, and when there's me when I.
You look really nice.
You look like a drowned sewer rat. My husband Ryan Reynolds is calling me on my Mint mobile phone. Did I mention my husband is Ryan Reynolds? Sorry, he's calling me on my Mint mobile phone. I just really think there was something so charming about the South in the 1800s. Did I mention myself yet? The jacket's actually bowed. Well, it's my husband's, Ryan Reynolds. He's in Deadpool x Wolverine, out in AMC movie theaters now. Tickets available, and a popcorn bucket. On those florals, wash your hair with Blake Brown hair care products, and come out and see the rom-com of the summer. Gotta go.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star, and this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out, and I think I was so vulnerable and uncomfortable.
Let's talk about the man behind the Deadpool mask, Ryan Reynolds. We've all fallen for his charming, funny guy persona, but is that really who he is when the cameras stop rolling? Because some encounters with other celebrities are painting a very different picture, and I'm honestly shocked. His true colors might have slipped out during an interaction with Jersey Shore stars Sammy Giancola and Dina Cortese. And let me tell you, the vibes were apparently not good.
Was Joy rude to you, Nicole?
Was so mean to me. Ryan Reynolds was not great to us.
The cast of Jersey Shore puts Joy Behar and Ryan Reynolds on blast when asked about the alleged rudest celeb encounters they've had since their show debuted in 2009.
So what exactly went down between Ryan and the Jersey Shore cast? When they appeared on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, they were asked about celebrities who weren't so nice in person. Sammy clearly didn't want to stir up any Hollywood drama, and honestly, who could blame her? Taking on A-listers is never a good career move. But before Sammy could dodge the question, Dina just went ahead and spilled the tea. She named Ryan Reynolds. She did try to soften the blow afterwards, saying he wasn't great to them, but adding that she still loved Ryan and Blake Lively. But let's be real here. If you feel the need to clarify that you still love someone after mentioning their name as a not-so-nice celebrity, something definitely happened, and it wasn't good.
I love Ryan Reynolds still. Like, I truly love Ryan Reynolds still, and I love Blake Lively. So when he didn't want to be by us.
Okay, so they probably shouldn't wait by the duck phone for a call from Joy or Ryan.
Sammy tried to give Ryan the benefit of the doubt, suggesting that maybe he was just having an off day when they met him. But the fact that they even brought it up at all, that speaks volumes. And they're definitely not the only ones who've been hesitant to call out big Hollywood names for their bad behavior.
I think I know why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds stepped out for the first time since all the drama to the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary. At the end of the day, this is all for PR, to be honest. I think Saturday Night Live knew that people were gonna be talking about them and their event. They've been so controversial. They've been in every headline. Girl, I'm tired of hearing about them. But this also worked in their defense as well, because not only did they show up, Ryan Reynolds actually did a little skit. In the skit, they kind of joked about all the stuff that's going on. At the end of the day, I think they want the public to know that like Hollywood accepts them, you know, and they're at that event with all these celebrities. Just look at this crowd. Like you see Bad Bunny, like there's so many famous people in this picture. I feel like this was very strategic on their part. And why does she look scared the whole time he's talking? I don't think she knew that this was gonna be going on. I need this case to wrap it up and end, because I'm sick of hearing about it. I truly am. It ends with us.
Even actress Rebecca Ferguson once shared a truly horrifying experience with a co-star. She didn't name names, but her description was absolutely chilling. She described working with someone who was deeply insecure and constantly angry, lashing out at everyone on set. According to Rebecca, this co-star was so frustrated with their own performance that they took all that negative energy out on her. They even screamed at her in front of the entire crew. Can you imagine how humiliating that must have been? This person questioned her acting skills right in front of everyone. It got so unbearably toxic that Rebecca would literally walk off set in tears. And because this person was the top-billed star of the project, absolutely nobody stepped in to help her. My heart breaks just thinking about what she went through.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star, and this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable.
Here's the plot twist that had me cheering. Rebecca eventually stood up for herself and told this horrible co-star to get off her set. Good for her. So could Ryan Reynolds be one of those celebrities who's completely different behind the scenes? The jury's still out, but more and more stories are surfacing that make people wonder if his nice guy image is exactly that, just an image.
You know, I think the thing too about like having, you know, your parents go through all that, they made a lot of sacrifices so that we could be okay and we could be protected from all that. And, you know, I've heard a lot of very crazy stories, and to see somebody who's, you know, a mother and she has 3 kids and she's done a lot of wonderful things too, you know, you can overcome that. And I came from a place where I wasn't privileged or... I didn't really have anything handed to me necessarily, so I think, you know, it doesn't matter where you come from. You can achieve things.
And that's what...
Rebecca Ferguson's nightmare co-star story is absolutely wild, and I'm dying to know who it could be. She didn't name names, but trust me, it sounds like absolute hell working with this person. The way she described it, this actor was so deeply insecure about their own performance that they completely took it out on her, yelling at her in front of the entire crew and even mocking her acting abilities. Just imagine trying to do your job and getting publicly humiliated like that. It's giving me anxiety just thinking about it. Things got so bad that Rebecca was literally breaking down in tears during filming. But here's where I gained so much respect for her. She didn't just take the abuse. She stood her ground and at one point told this person to F off. She even said she'd rather act opposite a tennis ball than deal with them for another second. And get this power move, she refused to even face them on set anymore, making sure she only acted to the back of their head instead. That is the definition of setting boundaries, and I am here for it.
When do you think you've been proudest of using your own voice?
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star. And this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable that I got screamed at. And I would cry walking off set. This person would literally look at me in front of the whole crew and say, "You call yourself an actor, this is what I have to work with. What is this?" And I stood there just breaking. This happens. But because this person was number 1 on a call sheet, there was no safety net for me. So no one had my back. And I remember the next day I walked on and I said, "You get off my set." This is the first time I've ever spoken. I remember being so scared. And I looked at this person and I said, "You can F off. I'm going to work towards a tennis ball. I never want to see you again." And then I remember the producers came up and said, "You can't do this to number 1. We have to let this person be on set." And I said, "But the person can turn around and I can act to the back head."
Wow.
And I did. I was so scared. I feel it.
After Rebecca's story went viral, tons of actors reached out to show their support, including Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who praised her for standing up for herself. Even some of her past co-stars contacted her after hearing what she'd been through. But the question on everyone's mind is, who was this mystery actor? Rebecca's keeping those lips sealed tight, saying it doesn't matter, but she did make one thing crystal clear. It wasn't Tom Cruise or Hugh Jackman. While people have been throwing out all kinds of guesses, some are convinced it could have been Ryan Reynolds. And let's be honest, Rebecca's not the only one who seems to have distanced herself from him. Even Jake Gyllenhaal, who used to be super close with Ryan, has completely cut ties with him. Whatever happened between them must have been serious, because Jake's not even acknowledging Ryan's existence anymore.
Okay.
Is Ryan Reynolds...
Oh!
Like he's Canadian.
Look, you punch a couple hundred orphans and suddenly you're mean. This is what I don't understand.
So could Ryan be Rebecca's nightmare co-star? Or is there someone else in Hollywood with a reputation for being that difficult? The plot thickens. Did Ryan Reynolds really freeze out Morena Baccarin? If you thought the drama ended there, think again, because we need to talk about Morena Baccarin, aka Deadpool's original leading lady. Remember how she played such a huge role in the first movie, but by the sequel she was barely even in it? Yeah, that wasn't just a creative choice.
What's up with Deadpool 3? You know, fans want to know.
What is up with Deadpool 3? That's a really good question. I have to be very diplomatic about what I say here. I'd like to be in it. They have called me about being in it. Right now, we have not agreed on terms. And everybody's trying their best and doing their best, but it may or may not work out.
But you're an integral part of that.
I'd like to think so. I do think that this movie, I do feel like they're trying to reinvent it a little bit. I think this movie is going to be much more about Wolverine and Deadpool.
Rumors have been swirling that Morena and Ryan had a major falling out on set, and after that she got pushed to the sidelines, both in the movie and in real life. The proof? When Deadpool and Wolverine started making waves, Morena was noticeably absent from all the promotional events. Even at the premiere, while the rest of the cast was mingling and having a great time, she was off to the side in red carpet photos, completely alone. Fans couldn't help but notice how painfully awkward it looked. A lot of people are convinced this was all Ryan's doing. Allegedly, he didn't want her around because of their past issues. So messy, right?
Looks like a pattern is emerging as I found this blind item from July of 2024 stating that Ryan Reynolds completely iced out his co-star, Morena Baccarin, I think it is, and she was not included in any of the promotion for Deadpool and Wolverine. And when you think back to it, yeah, she wasn't. And if you look at the red carpet photos, she's pictured all alone by herself, not with any of the other cast. Just like what Blake did to Justin. So I wonder what the disagreement was there. I wonder if she was questioning some of the jokes in the movie. And of course, Ryan's ego couldn't take it. I'm sure there's some ironclad NDA in there and we'll never know what happened. But the promos and the videos don't lie. She wasn't in any of them with the cast. She was all alone by herself. I'm just hoping she wasn't sent to the basement.
So what really went down between them? Some say it had to do with her role in the franchise, while others think she pushed back on jokes Ryan wanted in the movie. Whatever the case, it seems like Ryan wasn't a fan of being challenged, and just like we've seen with other Hollywood power moves, he made sure she was left out in the cold. Based on how everyone at the premiere seemed buddy-buddy with Ryan, Morena didn't have much support either. Sound familiar? Yeah, this is giving major It Ends With Us vibes with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni all over again. And here's where things get even more interesting. A former co-star who had also worked with Ryan hinted that after Deadpool made him a massive star, he completely changed. According to them, he distanced himself from people and made it crystal clear he wasn't looking back. When asked if they'd ever work with him again, their answer was a hard no. Ryan Reynolds' list of burned bridges just keeps growing. And oh, we're not done yet, because it looks like Ryan has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and the latest to speak out? None other than Deadpool co-star TJ Miller. TJ, who played Weasel in the franchise, didn't hold anything back when talking about his experience with Ryan. He made it very clear that he walked away from the films because of Ryan, and wouldn't come back for Deadpool 3 even if they doubled his paycheck. That's not just work drama. That's personal.
Would I work with him again? No. I sort of wish him well because he's so good at Deadpool, and I think it's weird that he hates me.
Do you know he hates
We
you?
had a really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, let's do one more take. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me, but to me, as if I'm Weasel. So he was like, you know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. You do just enough exposition that is funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie.
So he's riffing.
I just kind of listened and thought it was weird, and then I got off stage and I walked over, and the whole crew was acting weird. And then I went up to Kate and I was like, that was weird, right? And she was like, of course it was weird. It was insane. Everybody was like, why is Ryan doing this? And the other weird thing is like, you know, I think he's kind of an insecure dude. His Twitter bio is showing you the parts of me that tested the best in focus groups. And I'm not sure that he's joking.
According to TJ, working with Ryan was so emotionally damaging that he never got over it. And for those thinking it might have just been some on-set banter or jokes, nope. TJ insists Ryan wasn't joking. He was actually putting him down on purpose and had zero remorse about it. What made the whole situation even weirder to TJ was that he wasn't even a main character, so he couldn't figure out why Ryan had such an issue with him. But in his opinion, it all came down to Ryan's own insecurities. It wasn't about anything TJ did. Ryan just wanted to remind everyone who the real star was. And here's the kicker. TJ wasn't the only one who noticed. He said everyone on set could feel the tension and found it incredibly awkward. They were all wondering why Ryan was acting that way. Honestly, it kind of adds up. TJ even pointed out how Ryan's Twitter bio jokes about only showing the parts of himself that were focus tested the best. And he doesn't think it's just a joke. He believes Ryan actually sees himself that way. Ryan Reynolds' insecurities are becoming harder and harder to ignore. Let's be real. People have been calling Ryan Reynolds insecure for quite a while now, and it's not just co-stars saying it. Even his exes have hinted at the same thing. In fact, his insecurities reportedly left some deep scars on his ex-wife and their breakup. Yeah, it was messy. But before we get into that drama, let's go back to Deadpool, because TJ Miller wasn't the only one who had issues with Ryan. Tim Miller, the director of the first Deadpool movie, ended up walking away from the franchise. And why? Because of Ryan. According to Tim, Ryan was so controlling over the project that working with him became impossible. He wanted full creative control over Deadpool, and when Tim pushed back, Ryan made sure he was pushed out. Tim put it bluntly. He didn't mind debating, but if he wasn't allowed to have a say, then there was no point in staying. So with Ryan calling all the shots, Tim decided it was time to go. And here's the thing. It's not just directors and co-stars that Ryan has reportedly alienated. Apparently, he's had the same pattern in his romantic relationships too. Just look at what happened with Scarlett Johansson. Now this is where things get really messy. Scarlett hasn't been shy about why her marriage to Ryan fell apart, and if you connect the dots, it's very telling. Let's rewind. They started dating in 2007, got engaged within a year, and by 2008 they were married. But just a couple of years later, it all crumbled fast. And here's where it gets interesting. Their marriage just so happened to fall apart right around the time Scarlett's career exploded with major Marvel roles like Iron Man 2 and The Avengers. Coincidence? She doesn't think so. Ever since their split, Scarlett has been dropping hints about what went down, and the two words that keep coming up, jealousy and insecurity. Scarlett Johansson spills the tea on Ryan Reynolds' insecurities. At one point, Scarlett made it very clear she can't stand jealous behavior. She admitted that while the occasional check-in is fine, passive-aggressive jealousy is just a big red flag because it screams insecurity and controlling behavior. Completely unattractive. Now let's connect the dots. We already know Ryan loves being in control. He basically took over Deadpool and even drove the original director out. And it turns out he may have been the same way in his marriage.
What many people forget is there was a time from 2008 to 2011 where Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds were married. They got divorced after Ryan Reynolds finished filming Green Lantern, where he met his second wife, Blake Lively, and many people have assumed he cheated on Scarlett Johansson with Blake Lively while filming. Before getting divorced, they both joined Marvel, with Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool in X-Men Origins 2009. A year later in 2010, Scarlett Johansson would join the MCU, playing Black Widow in Iron Man 2. The characters of Deadpool and Black Widow are close, where in some of the comics the two actually have a relationship together.
Think about it. Scarlett was landing major Marvel deals while Ryan's career wasn't exactly taking off the same way. So it makes total sense why she believes her success played a big part in their split. She even admitted that relationships between two actors can be tricky, especially when both careers are growing at the same time. And if one becomes way more successful than the other, yeah, that can create some serious tension. She hinted that there was definitely a competitive vibe in her marriage, which made things even worse. Basically, Scarlett was out here securing blockbuster roles, and Ryan was not handling it well. And she didn't stop there. She straight up called her experience with Ryan volatile and heavily implied that his insecurities ruin things. According to her, there will always be one person who's more successful in a marriage, but Ryan just couldn't handle being the less successful one. And here's where things really get interesting. Enter Blake Lively. Ryan met Blake while filming Green Lantern, and at that time, he was still married to Scarlett. But their chemistry? Apparently undeniable. So undeniable that they reportedly had a hard time keeping things professional on set.
We were just like fireworks coming across the...
Went well for him. There were no fireworks for me.
So while Ryan was already struggling with his marriage thanks to his ego and jealousy, he found it way too easy to latch onto Blake instead. And just like that, his marriage with Scarlett was done. At this point, it's kind of impossible to ignore how often the word insecure pops up when people talk about Ryan. And if the same thing keeps coming up over and over again, it's probably not just a coincidence, right? But wait, his personal life isn't the only place where Ryan's rubbed people the wrong way. His track record in Hollywood isn't winning him any fans either. Why Hollywood directors want nothing to do with Ryan Reynolds. Filmmakers are straight up afraid to work with Ryan because he has a habit of taking over projects and making them his thing. And guess what? Quentin Tarantino wants nothing to do with him. Quentin didn't sugarcoat it. He basically said Ryan is just a high-paid actor with no real quality films under his belt. He even called out Netflix movies in general, saying they make millions but are completely forgettable. Translation? Ryan's entire film career isn't even worth remembering. Ouch! And
part of the marvelization of Hollywood is you have all these actors who have become famous playing these
parts,
characters,
yeah.
but they're not movie stars. Captain America is the star.
Right.
let's be real, Quentin hates streaming services like Netflix, but Ryan? He's been all about them, starring in films like Six Underground, Red Notice, and The Adam Project. But if you think that's bad, just wait until you hear what Chris Columbus had to say. Ryan once tried to reboot Home Alone, but not just any reboot, a stoner version called Stoned Alone. Yeah, you heard that right. The plot? A guy who grows weed misses his flight, then a bunch of burglars break into his house. Chris Columbus, the original director of Home Alone, was furious. He thought the whole concept was straight up disrespectful and made it clear that Ryan should not mess with a classic. He even told him to just rewatch the original instead of ruining it. And honestly, he had a point. Home Alone is legendary, not some random Netflix movie. But wait, Ryan's Hollywood drama doesn't stop there. Turns out other actors aren't exactly fans of his movies either. Gerard Butler, for example, had some serious shade to throw when someone compared his movie Gamer to Ryan's Free Guy, since both revolve around virtual reality. Gerard had no interest in the comparison. He didn't even pretend to know what Free Guy was, and when the interviewer mentioned it was one of Ryan's movies, Gerard shut it all the way down with, "I don't watch Ryan Reynolds films." Yikes. That's some next level shade. And honestly, with more and more people calling out Ryan's movies for being forgettable, it's starting to look like Hollywood's turning its back on him. Is Ryan Reynolds' Hollywood reputation falling apart? So it's not just Quentin Tarantino dismissing Ryan's movies. Chris Columbus finds his ideas straight up insulting. And Gerard Butler? Yeah, he made it very clear he's not a fan either. When this many people start throwing shade, you got to wonder, is there something deeper going on? Is Ryan really as insecure as his exes have hinted? Or is this just Hollywood politics at play? Either way, it's clear he's rubbing some big names the wrong way. And speaking of bad moves, let's talk about this cringy SNL moment.
Meanwhile, over the weekend, SNL did its 50th anniversary tribute, and there was one moment that seemed to stand out. That was a moment where Tina Fey and Amy Poehler called out Ryan Reynolds in the audience, and it was a little awkward.
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Joking about how you and your wife essentially tried to leverage by accusing him of is not amazing. It's not an amazing look. I think it's going to do serious career damage to Ryan Reynolds, and by the evidence, it probably should.
Ryan and Blake showed up at Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary special, and let's just say it did not go as planned. Instead of a fun, lighthearted moment, it felt like they were trying to manipulate the public and control the narrative right in the middle of their legal mess. Ryan even threw in a joke about his ongoing legal drama with Justin Baldoni, and Blake played along. But the timing, way off. It was awkward, especially with everything going on around those claims. Fans weren't buying it either. A lot of people called the whole thing a PR stunt, a desperate attempt to seem likable while their perfect image starts crumbling. Even Justin's lawyer chimed in, questioning how anyone could joke about something that serious. At this point, it's starting to look like Ryan and Blake's carefully crafted image is falling apart, and their attempts to fix it? Yeah, not working. But what do you think? Were they always just fooling everyone? Did you see this coming before the rest of us? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, smash that like button and hit that subscribe so you don't miss any of the latest drama.